So a while back I made my Mod of Redemption Extras video. In that, I missed a few details because I'd yet to do a playthrough. I literally just messed around with it on Heroes Mod. Now time has passed, I did a playthrough, and several updates have come out since then, so why not go again? There's plenty more to cover. I don't have anything better to do since it's summer and this fan is on 24/7. Anyway, here's a second part to the Redemption Extras video because why not? First of all, no multiplayer. I've heard that people don't read, so I'll make this quick. There's no multiplayer support yet. Read the mod description. Bozo. The wedding ring, as I said, is used to spawn the keeper. You can craft it with 6 gravesteel alloy and a ruby, but you can also find it in Gothic tombs. If you somehow lost the ring or gave it to the skull digger, you can also buy it from the fallen if you don't feel like crafting more. I plan on eventually doing a fully detailed explanation of the elements mechanic. This will include what elements each enemy has, what their weaknesses are, as well as each of their effects. It's going to take a while since there's a lot of enemies and the only listed enemy elements on the wiki are celestial. I also have to have the motivation to do it. If you like these videos, consider subscribing. That's all I have to say about it for now. I mentioned how to access the spirit realm, but there's more to it. Certain bodies will glow when spirit walking. Right-clicking them with the dead ringer will allow you to talk to them. They mostly give you lore stuff, but you can also obtain Crux cards. You can get empty Crux cards from Gothic tombs or the ancient hut. Alternatively, you can just buy them from the fallen after obtaining the spirit walk ability. The spirit stranger at the underground portal will give you the bone duo card for free. If you have the old top hat, which is found underground, you can trade it for the Asher card. The others have requirements for their cards. The Hazmat Ghost does nothing other than have one line of dialogue. Skull Digger and the Forest Nymph also give you Crux cards with no fetch quests involved. Skull Digger just needs to be freed and will appear in the spirit realm. Forest Nymph is a rare enemy that can be befriended while having a positive alignment and the Xenium Staff summon active. Then you'll need to do some other tasks. Get her a herb bag, an Angolonic, a Mystic Bloom, and a house. She'll tell you the living conditions she needs. I'm not going to go over what each card does since there's a lot, and I'm not doing that video, but I'll explain how they work. They're summoner weapons that use lost souls, have health, and don't use minion slots, and have a cooldown after dying. Alignment is a mechanic that decides how certain things in the world will go. You can check this with the Chalice of Alignment. You get the Chalice fragments from the Wayfarer after he jumps back into the portal, and the Cursed Gem from the Hall of Heroes. At the moment, there's only 3 things it does. It decides whether Gothic Cryo Crystals spawn or Dragonlead, unlocks Nebulous Phase 2, and locks the Forest Nymph's interactions. There's many ways to increase or decrease your alignment. Some are very specific things, like killing this guy, while others are doing certain boss fights. In case you're wondering, yes, they plan on doing more of this. I can't get away from her. No matter what anyone says or what I do, Rose always finds a way to come back here. This time I'm not gonna go do degeneracy. She's still not supposed to be here.
You're not supposed to be here.
She's still in the Blazing Bastion, like always. When the update fully releases, she'll have more to do. Alignment stuff, really. Stay on the positive alignment, please. Friendship ended with Hypertech revolvers. Dusk Song is my best friend. Raveyard is an event that will occur on the 6th night and rarely after. Blood Moon and Natural Eye spawns will cancel it. During the event, a bunch of skeleton variants will spawn for half the night. This music goes kinda hard. I'll lightly touch on the Ritualist class. Take all this with a very small grain of salt. Like, a grain as small as the close add button. From what I've heard, the Ritualist class is going to be an expansion of the Druid Spirit subclass. The one where you have weapons that get stronger or change completely depending on how high your spirit level is. If I recall correctly, I saw some unfinished weapon for the class on an old GitHub beta. I'm drawing this from memory, and I don't think the old beta works anymore due to Team Loader updates. Like I said, take this with the smallest grain of salt possible. From what I'm gathering from leaks in the OST, there will be a new deep space subworld. From Kingslayer 3's data logs, I think the subworld will be his real ship, judging this off what screenshots I have. If you've noticed that the Omega Transmitter has a 4th setting after beating Nebulous, we're going to talk about it briefly. This is another thing you should take with a grain of salt, but slightly larger one. From something I saw in the old wiki and some other dialogue from after Omega Obliterator, the next Omega prototype will be Kingslayer 3, but Omega. To access the lower levels of the abandoned lab, you'll need a keycard. You can get the keycard the same way you get the Omega transmitter. Gyra sends you a drone carrying it. This one is post-Moon Lord. It usually takes a while, sometimes during or after the credits. Contender for favorite weapon is the Xenium Staff. It's an interesting weapon. You shoot bubbles that you can blow up with the right-click laser. It's fun to use and can rack up high DPS, but in practice it's not that great. It shoots stationary bubbles that only deal damage after you make them explode. It's only really good against slow-moving or stationary targets. If you can train fast-moving enemies into a cloud of them, good for you. Best boss for this is Mace Project Phase 1, as the explosive damage shreds through its guard points. Patient Zero is also stationary but has a resistance to poison damage, so more viable if you're playing with the element mechanic off. Ruined Kingdom is another subworld coming in 0.8. Don't know much about it, but it looks cool. All these spoilers are old except for the main menu. Soulless Caverns was in an old beta for 1.3. A lot of people showed it off, me included. It will be in the full 0.8. From some leaks and some other stuff I've seen, the Warden will have a Phase 2 theme, and there will be some new, interesting stuff. Look at this. The reworked chicken army is here. The Fowl Morning is upon us. You can summon the Fowl Emperor with the Egg Crown. Doesn't really do a lot, but this is meant to be a joke mini-boss. It's always fun to swat it right out of his hands. Upon defeat, he drops the Fowl Warhorn to summon the Fowl Morning, but only before noon, because it's morning. This event is similar to events like Pumpkin Moon, Frost Moon, and the Old One's army, as it comes in waves of enemies that get progressively harder as you get to higher waves. All the enemies are unsurprisingly chickens, roosters, and other fowl. There's two mini-bosses being Cockatrice and Basan. Cockatrice spawns first on wave 6. Its only attack is just shooting a laser that petrifies you. It has a very long charge up and can be easily avoided by jumping. Also doesn't deal contact damage either. Also, it's a chicken dragon, so that's cool. Mythology always has the cool ideas. Now for Basan, the final boss of the event. It's a big fire rooster from Japanese mythology. If what I just said isn't obvious, it has fire-based attacks, flapping its wings to shoot short-ranged fire wind gusts, summoning ghost fire chickens that explode upon contact with you, and breathing fire with much more range than the gust. Killing Basan ends the event. There are some pre-boss weapons available from this event, so might as well do it. There's a new mini-boss called Calavia. She spawns at the underground portal after beating Skeletron. This fight isn't a pushover. With the enclosed space, forced arena, and all of the ice buffs, things could get out of hand really fast. If you think this fight is mediocre, try doing it as melee using only the Zweihander, you pansy. In case you're wondering why, need I say more? Well, I did have a ton of trouble with this fight. The parrying definitely made up for that. Parrying her swings felt exhilarating every single time I did it, especially when at a combo. After getting low enough, she stops the fight and surrenders. More alignment stuff to do, yay. Sparing her allows you to talk to her for more lore, do small quests to help her out, and forge new weapons. Blade of the Mountain and Icefall were in the mod before her addition, but now you get them from Calavia, either killing her or just having her forge them using Zweihander or Mistfall instead of crafting them. Either way, fun parry mechanics, annoying dashes, good fight. That about covers everything I want to talk about for now. I'll get around to work on that Elements video when I get around to work on it. Now if you'll excuse me, I go back to what I was doing before. Maybe continuing respreading or setting up for an Infernum playthrough. Anyway, goodbye. Also, Makeup Obliterator's personality drives into Toaster.